Radical Radio Collective.
Good afternoon, listeners. You're tuned into 4ZZY 2.1 FM. This is Eco Radio, Australia's longest running peace and environment radio show, probably. We're taking over your middle of the day, middle of the week, end of the month-ish.
Yeah, close enough.
Airwaves. My name is Dave. My pronouns are he, him.
My name is Zack. My pronouns are he, they.
And I want to start off by acknowledging and paying my respects to the custodians on the country in which we broadcast. We're located in the city of Mungangin on Turbill, Yagara and Yugupal land. I also want to acknowledge and pay my respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are listening in today. Our radio waves reach Cubby Cubby and Yinnabarra country in the north, Waka Waka country in the west. In the east, we pay our respects to the Quandamooka people, and down south, we reach the Commonwealth, Ngaragwal, Mununjali, Wandjarabara, and Yugambeh countries, and Bunjalung countries. I apologise. Thank you to No Idea for all the great ideas. I always enjoy Peter's marine talk and the H2O theme. It's a big tick from me. I really enjoyed that as well.
Yeah.
Today on the show, we're going to be talking all about birds. So today we're going to have an interview with Andrew Turbill. He's a bird language expert that teaches people to understand what birds are saying. Staying with the bird theme, Zack, you're going to be telling us all about the this year's Australia Bird of the Year, the Tawny Frogmouth.
Yeah, I will be.
Yeah. And seeing as how we are talking birds today, BirdLife Australia is currently running their Aussie bird count. Currently 44,000 birds. Bird counts have been submitted, with over 1 million birds counted. This is running to the 26th of October, so register at aussiebirdcount.org.au or download the Aussie Bird Count app. Grubs, it's time to get on with the show. You're going to keep your dials tuned into 4ZZZ. This is 50 years in your ears. And on the line today, I'm talking to Andrew Turbill, a bird language expert that teaches people to understand what birds are saying. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us today.
No worries, Dave. Glad to join you across the border.
Yeah, that's right. So before I was told about your workshops, I had just assumed that birds were making their own sounds that we couldn't understand, but you teach people what the birds are actually saying. Can you tell us how bird language works?
Yeah, that's right. So I don't want to get the impression that it's like some direct translation, like a Google Translate. You just put bird language in one end and get like English come out the other end.
Yeah, right.
Our last common ancestor with birds, which, just to be frank, are just theropod dinosaurs. Like, we call them birds that help us sleep at night, but they're just dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They're the only group of dinosaurs that survived when the Earth got hit by a massive asteroid 66 million years ago. So our last common ancestor with these guys is like 300 million years ago or something. So, they are completely alien to us. But this is the important bit, when they're communicating with each other, it's with specific intention, So they have an intention in mind, whether it's be trying to hook up with a mating partner, whether it's telling some other bird to piss off because you're kind of defending some nectar, whether it's an alarm because a goshawk or a goanna's coming into the country. There's all sorts of communication specifics, and when you kind of team up with the calls and then the sort of like the posture and the circumstance and the context, you can start to interpret like, okay, that call there from the eastern whipbird, when it makes that call, it's because there's a python on the ground nearby. Or when it makes that call, it's because it's trying to communicate with a partner that's on the nest. That's the sort of level of communication that we're kind of working with.
Yeah, okay. So how did you learn the bird language? Is this just through observation?
Yeah, just observation. Like the way I explain it to some of my bird language participants is like watching a movie and it's an Arabic movie, so they're talking Arabic, but you don't know how to speak Arabic and you've got no subtitles. You just, by watching it and paying really close attention to the circumstances and the storyline and the posture and the facial expressions, you start to build story. And that story, you start to be able to make predictions about the story. What's going to come next? Oh, that's right. I was right after all. Well, no, that didn't happen. Oh, my God, I'm not on the right track after all. So when you've been doing that for a long time, like I've been doing it for 40 years or more, since I was a little guy, then your brain starts to get some little heuristic shortcuts and you start to be able to kind of, feel that you see a bird in a certain posture, it's making a certain noise, and already something about the quality of the sound, the way the posture and the environment it's in already tells you that's an alarm call. I bet if I went over there right now and looked around the corner, I bet there's a python or a goanna. Go over there and sure enough there's a python or a goanna. So it's reinforcing, as you get better at it. But essentially it's what we call dirt time. You just got to go out there and spend time watching birds, paying attention to birds and what they're up to.
Yeah, I find that really interesting, that to learn the language of birds, you need to sit and just observe nature. On your website, you say that this is reprogramming your brain. Can you tell us more about that?
Look, I didn't know that it was going to do reprogramming people's brains when I first started doing retreats. But I kept seeing the feedback from people over the period of the retreat. So the retreats only go for 3 days. But even the online Zoom program, like I've got one of those starting in a couple of weeks, and even when that online program, which is like extraordinary, I see people's brains changing in that as well, where they report directly back to me saying, I was out in my backyard gardening and I heard all these calls that I've never heard before, but yet the birds were always there and they were always calling. It's just that what was happening is their brains, in an effort to conserve energy, because our brains are massive energy hogs, our brains just send through a lot of the information that comes from our sensory system, including our hearing, into your spam box. Just go straight to spam. I won't bother telling Dave about this. This is boring. He won't want to know about this. Well, what if he does want to know about it? What if that's really important information about the world? So when you start paying attention deliberately and very intentionally to the sound around you, the songscape, your brain goes, I'll give you all that information then if that's what you want. And so you actually become able to live more fully in the world because you become aware of all this additional sound, this song.
Yeah.
Previously was there, you just weren't hearing it.
Yeah, it's mindfulness, right?
Exactly, it's mindfulness. And that's why I reckon that the bird language stuff is like a bit of a gateway drug to get you into sort of a mindfulness-based approach to nature connection. And nature connection has been shown through serious 20 years or more of serious science now to have all this massive range of proper benefits for us at a mental and physical health level. Really important sort of stuff. So it's not just hippy-dippy stuff. The effects of doing this has a consequence to our mental and physical well-being, and that's been really evidence-based to show that it's very positive and very real.
Yeah, I find this ultimately so interesting. I was told that there is a 5-point language hand system. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
A 5? Where did you hear that?
The quick way to remember the language of some birds, or the basic language, is the thumb. If the thumb's up, that is they're sounding good. They're telling everyone everything's good around them. The index finger is pointing at danger. Is that...
It's just, no, this sounds like it might have come from John Young.
Oh, right.
One of my mentors from the States. No, but I'll steal this idea from you, Dave, and start to put it forward as my own from now on. I have a sort of a method where there's these I call them voice categories. It's just like a schema of voices. So when birds are talking, generally, as far as I can tell at least, that those songs or the noise they make fit into one of these, like 9. There's probably about 90 categories really, but I've only kind of got to about 9. And that's generally things like courtship and aggression and juvenile and begging, which of course there's all different sorts of begging. There's juvenile begging, there's courtship begging, there's little baby bird begging, there's fledgling begging. And then there's mimicry, and there's pain calls, and there's vigilance calls, and a whole range of alarm calls. And there's about 9 or 10 of those categories. And I get people to try and, by playing them a lot of my own recordings of those voices for different birds, I try and get people to sort of look at the quality of the sound. What is the quality of sound? So when you hear it, you don't need to know the actual bird's name to be able to go, look at that situation, look at the sound that, listen to the sound of that call and start to think, I think this bird's call relates to, courtship.
Yeah.
And look, what do you know? They just jumped on her back and gave her a cuddle. It was courtship.
Yeah.
So people don't need to know all the names of birds to get into bird language. You don't need to be a birder to get into bird language. That's the point. Most of my participants are not great at birds. They don't know how to identify most birds.
Yeah.
That's not the important thing.
It's being able to observe them in nature.
It's being able to observe. The thing I tell people when they first start out in my courses is the hardest thing that you will do is learning how to notice what is already there. So it's a learning how to pay attention. I think paying attention, particularly in an age where our phones are just robbing us of the ability to have any sort of sustained attention on anything, it's pretty fundamentally sort of liberating and kind of anti-capitalist in a pretty fundamental way. Just go out and spend a couple of hours just focusing, sustained focus and attention. People do find that very liberating and kind of profound, because 95% of people in my courses have never gone out into the forest and sat for an hour and just paid attention. It's like something simple, right? But it's like kind of profound.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds simple, but it would probably be quite difficult for someone to do first off. The Tawny Frogmouth won this year's Bird of the Year, but it's not a songbird. How do non-songbirds communicate, and can we learn their language?
Yeah, look, songbirds are just without getting the taxonomy of stuff, which is very complicated, puts people to sleep. But songbirds, there's about 5,000 species of songbirds in the world, and that's the majority of the birds you hear making pleasant sounds. But not all songbirds make pleasant sounds. I mean, crows and ravens are songbirds, but they make the most complex sort of range of sounds. And incidentally, all the songbirds of the world, whether they be in Europe, North America, Africa, South America, Madagascar, wherever you find them, the science suggests very strongly they all evolved from ancestors coming out of Australia. So we gave song to the rest of the world. The rest of the world doesn't thank us enough for that. But with the non-song birds, like your parrots and your eagles and kingfishers and that stuff. So with birds like the Tawny Frogmouth, they still have language, and they use other forms of communication as well as language, even though it's more simplified language. But they have the way that their feathers move. So Gisela Kaplan, who's a researcher from the University of England, has got a wonderful book on frogmouths, and she reckons in that book that frogmouths probably have some of the best control over their feathers in terms of moving their feathers in all different sort of patterns, and every single pattern is communicating something to another frogmouth.
Oh, that's
so
fascinating.
Whether they're all frizzed up or they're all sleeked down, or whether some parts are frizzed and some parts are sleeked, all that is body language. The sort of stuff that we pick up if you and I are having this conversation in person, our brains are picking up that information without us being aware of it.
Yeah. All right, thanks so much, Andrew, for talking to us. Where can people find out more about your work?
The best place to go to is just my website, because I've got everything on there, including lots of free information and audio recordings, and also just what's coming up in terms of retreats. The online workshops starting soon. That's andrewthebirdguy.com. You just whack that into your browser.
Nice and simple.
AndrewTurbill.com. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks very much, Andrew, for joining us.
No worries. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate talking to you all.
Yeah. That was Andrew Turbill. Andrew is a bird language expert that teaches people to understand what birds are saying. You're listening to Eco Radio. After that call with Andrew, he said some very nice things about 4ZZZ. He said that he was so cool to go to the old market days and see the punks and gosts enjoying themselves in 36-degree heat. He also said how great it was that 4ZZZ is still going strong, and he would love to come back for a chat. That was such a great chat I had with Andrew Turbill. He's a bird language expert. And speaking of birds, Zack, we just had the Australian Bird of the Year prize.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that go?
Well, I suppose they're not really giving out a prize to the Bird of the Year, but the Bird of the Year has been crowned.
Crowned, yeah.
And after 3 years, or 3 consecutive years, but biannually, so every 2 years is when the poll is held.
That's 6 years.
Yeah, in 2019, 2021 and 2023, the Tawny Frogmouth has won Australia's Bird of the Year after being runner-up those previous 3 occasions that the poll happened. So,
hoo-hoo.
Big win.
Hoo-hoo.
But yeah, so we're going to talk about the Tawny Frogmouth, and there's a common misconception that the Tawny Frogmouth is an owl. And well, that may be a reasonable conclusion to make when you're kind of looking at the two of them.
Or hearing them, right?
Yeah, that too, somewhat. They're both nocturnal, and they both have similar body shapes. They've got that very puffy plumage, so yeah, and the coloration is pretty similar as well. The Tawny Frogmouth, as we'll get into later, is very dark a lot of the time. But
do you want me to play the sound of the Tawny Frogmouth?
I'll get there.
Okay.
But they are part of completely separate groups of birds. So, owls form their own group and are closely related to other birds of prey, whereas Tawny Frogmouths are part of the Frogmouth group, surprisingly. Mm-hmm. And they don't possess talons and are in fact more closely related to hummingbirds than they are owls.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so pretty distinct groups of birds there. They've just sort of convergently evolved to have similar traits of being nocturnal and hunting and that sort of thing. But they're called frogmouths because their mouths are wide and they kind of look frogmouth, I suppose. Froggy, yeah. And fun fact, there's actually 2 other kinds of frogmouths in Australia, which I didn't know about beforehand.
2 different kinds of tawny frogmouths?
No, just 2 different kinds of...
Frogmouth.
2 other kinds of frogmouths.
Okay.
Yeah, so... and they're not as widespread as the Tawny Frogmouth, which is why that the Tawny Frogmouth has more notoriety, I suppose. So we also have the Papuan Frogmouth, which does occur in Papua New Guinea as well, and is primarily found in northern Australia, rainforest sort of area. And then we have the Marbled Frogmouth, but and that one can be found in southeast Queensland, but it's restricted to more of that dense rainforest habitat, whereas obviously the Tawny Frogmouth we see pretty regularly in urban environments.
Okay, yeah.
So back to the Tawny Frogmouth, their plumage is quite puffy, as I said earlier, and they are primarily grey, though chestnut and reddish-brown colour morphs exist, and no matter how I describe it, it's going to be much more effective to just look at a Tawny Frogmouth on Google or something like that. So do that if you want to get a better idea of it, on what it looks like. Yeah,
or go to your local park and just have a look at branches. They could be Tawny Frogmouths.
That could be. And they have other colours on them though, such as brown, white and black to create a bit of a mottled pattern. They also have those in streaks as well. This combined with their plumage allows for them to have pretty great camouflage, as during the day they will perch on branches and blend into the tree quite well. Some will even assume a position on some branches that look similar to a broken branch. So I saw images of them. There's a branch that has fallen on the ground or something like that, and they've sat on top of it and you look like they've assumed a position that it just looks like they're a bunch of branches that have been snapped off that original branch.
Yeah.
They are found pretty much throughout all of mainland Australia and Tasmania, but become much less common in the interior desert, though some sparse records still exist. Like, I was looking at iNaturalist and the Atlas of Living Australia, and there's still, like, frogmouth sightings in Alice Springs.
Really?
Yeah, and like in the real outback, where you wouldn't really expect them to be when you think about their preference for trees. This makes sense, though, when considering they have a broad range of preferred habitats, including woodland, scrubland, savannas, even alpine regions like the Snowy Mountains and whatnot. And as you would know, again, they're pretty common in urbanised areas. As long as there's trees around, they're pretty generally happy, right? So treeless deserts and dense rainforests, as I said, are the only habitats they are rarely found in.
They're rarely found in dense rainforests?
Yeah, like tropical rainforest.
Why?
It's just too high humidity or something, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. They are carnivorous but primarily insectivorous, and they will target small vertebrates such as frogs, reptiles, vermin, and other small native mammals as well, but in general they have a diet primarily consisting of insects. They are nocturnal, as I said, but will still take food during the day, and they will do this by not being active whatsoever. They'll kind of sit on a branch with their mouth open, and then if an insect flies into it, they'll snap down on it, and
like a Venus flytrap.
Kind of.
Do they have anything in their mouth that attracts insects?
I don't think so. I haven't read anything with that about that. And to kill larger prey, such as those reptiles, frogs, and whatnot, they will repeatedly smash it on a tree branch.
Yeah, I've seen kookaburras do it. I haven't seen a tawny frogmouth do it.
I've seen kookaburras do it too. I had one in my backyard a few months ago that was smashing something. It was quite loud. It was on the washing line, so gave like a nice metal bong with it.
Yeah, nice.
So tawny frogmouths are monogamous and form partnerships for life, which can, be up to a decade.
Yeah, for life.
For life. Or, I don't know. Yeah, for life.
Yeah.
Or just a really long time.
That's why you always see them, or you mostly see them in pairs.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, that's nice.
And physical contact is kind of super important for them. When roosting together, they're regularly touching each other, and also with their grooming, like the male and female will groom each other, which is really sweet. And breeding season is between August and December, though some will breed in response to heavy rains in the desert. I assume that's something to do with just like
food supply,
general resource availability. So like, it's going to rain, there's going to be more food around, better pump out these babies as quick as we can.
Yeah.
Both parents share in incubation duties as well. One will incubate during the night while the other searches for food for its partner as well. So there's, all the sharing. They're equally involved in raising the kids. And they both also supply the food with young. So co-parenting, they're very successful with that.
Yeah, they sound like quite a wholesome bird. No wonder they won Bird of the Year.
And they were so close the previous 3 times too.
Yeah. Or as people always say, black swans, these lovebirds that mate for life, they're cucking each other all the time.
I remember you telling us about that at one point.
Yeah. Yeah, they should be talking about the tawny frogmouths being so lovely.
Yeah. Tawny frogmouths also like more closely related to penguins than they are owls. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. I heard, like, you're talking about the co-parent, like their strong familiar bonds, and it made me think of penguins, even though a lot of the time the penguins are a bit fucked up too.
Are they?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that kind of just shows you how diverse the birds are. I was even looking at, like, falcons don't fit in the same categories other birds of prey. Like,
really?
Yeah, they're not in the same group either, which I always thought it was the case. So you've got your your vultures, eagles, hawks, owls, and then falcons are just like evolved separately as well.
Yeah, right. We don't really have falcons in Australia, do we?
I think we do.
Do we?
I think we have some. I know, like
Need a fact-checking cuz.
I know we've got like the peregrine falcon.
Oh,
here.
yeah, of course.
I was thinking of the firehawks. But
I mean,
that's
these are common names, so like there might not be like a true falcon or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah. We'll go with common names for now.
We'll have to look up that one now. But back to the Tawny Frogmouth, they will make a low amplitude and low frequency call, which I've actually got up there. If you would play
you
for that
prepared
now.
earlier for us.
Yeah.
You want to go?
Yeah, play that for us. So that would be a familiar sound to a lot of folks out here in Brisbane.
Yeah.
You've probably heard that around your house. But yeah, it's a Tawny Frogmouth. And as like you pointed out earlier, Dave, it does sound pretty similar to an owl in some cases,
in the like the cartoonish way that we think that owls sound.
Yeah, well, it's like the boo book owl, which goes woo woo.
Yeah,
And
right.
those like don't sound too similar of it, like with the frequency of it, but it does sound like a hoot hoot hoot.
Yeah. It definitely sounds more similar than like other bird calls, like a cockatoo or something.
And as I said earlier, in Australia, Tawny Frogmouths live across a quite wide geographic region, and this can range from the desert to the snowy mountains. So things like thermoregulation are a bit of a challenge then when you can live in such like a wide environment as that. So when they're warm, they will rest in places that does not have all-day sunlight. They will do some panting, and then they will, even in their mouth, because like through the mouth is an excellent way to lose heat. Their blood vessels will expand, and that allows for more warm blood to be exposed to cooler air.
Yeah,
and so they lose heat through that way as well. And when it's cold, they will choose areas that have more sunlight exposure, and they'll huddle together, which again, very cute. And during winter, when food supply shrinks, they will enter torpor. And what torpor is it's kind of similar to hibernation, except it just doesn't occur over like great lengths of time. So torpor is something that will kind of happen for several hours at a time, but then will happen on a daily, happen daily when it's necessary. And so what this does is that it slows down their metabolism rate and their metabolism rate and their breathing. So they're just not having to expend as much energy on, like keeping all your vital systems going.
Yeah. So does that mean that they're more adaptable to the warming climate?
I mean, that's what happens when they're cool, though.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so it's like hibernation.
Right, okay.
But yeah, so what that does, it reduces their metabolism, and so when food supply is scarce during the winter, they don't have to spend as much energy on going to hunt and that sort of thing. And according to the IUCN, which is the thing that tells us how endangered an animal is, or something along those lines, they are of least concern, but they still do face a number of challenges, including getting hit by cars, getting attacked by dogs or whatnot. And as we discussed with a couple weeks ago, we're finding a lot of insecticides and rodenticides bioaccumulating in these predatory birds. So that's another concern, but in general, they're doing mostly fine.
Yeah, nice. And that's the Tawny Frogmouth, the bird of the year.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Bird of my heart too.
Oh, thanks for that, Zach. That was really interesting.
Thank you.
We did get a text in from Stephen saying that he enjoys wild bird watching and leaves water bowls out and loves to hear the warning or scatter call for when a blue tongue is going to have a drink. Sass texted in and Jay said they had the privilege and pleasure of mimicking a Eurasian blackbird's call back and forth for over half an hour.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You're listening to Eco Radio, the radio of the future.
The future. The future. The future.
You are listening to Eco Radio, the radio of the future.
Thank you,
Small child.
You are listening to Eco Radio. We've got a bunch of text messages in. Marky says that, g'day Marky, thanks for listening in, that he's doing some work over a gully, pulling out lantana at the moment, but had 2 tawny frogmouths perch on his balcony once. That's awesome. Because they stay there for quite a while, though.
Yeah, they're chill.
Yeah. And Mr. Starlin texted in saying that he heard reports that tawny frogmouths will perch on people's shoulders. Apparently the only common factor was longish hair with some grey in it, getting that camouflage in. Celestica, I'm sorry about the pronunciation, thought that frogmouths were nightjars.
They're closely related, but they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
There's even a thing called nightjar owlets, which are in a separate group to nightjars as well.
Oh.
So there's a lot of closely related, similar looking species there, or like groups there, that are not directly related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, it's come to that time of the show where we like to do a roundup of all the things that are happening in southeast Queensland that you can get involved in with the environment and peace. This is a little segment we like to call the Bushcare Roundup.
It's a Bushcare Roundup. They've been pulling out weeds and then they put in trees. It's a Bushcare Roundup.
And happening on Thursday, which is tomorrow, the 23rd, at 7:30 a.m, you can go to the John Oxley Reserve Bushcare Group Working Bee. That's happening at Og Road in Murrumba Downs.
On Saturday the 25th, between 7 and 10 a.m, there is the Citizen Science Biodiversity Walk in Nerang National Park out in Nerang. At 8:30 a.m, there is the Gertrude Petty Place Bushcare, that one 26 Mount Gravatt Outlook Drive. From 9 till 11 a.m, there is the Working Bee in the Chermside Hills Reserve in Chermside West. And then from 9 till 11 a.m, again, there is the Wongam Gully Catchment Care Day, and that one is at the Powerful Owl Court in Bunya.
And it's nice that those are all
bird-themed.
Finishing... bird-themed, very nice.
I saw the Powerful Owl made me think of birds, so I suppose a lot of it isn't bird-themed. It's just that one of the places has a bird name in it.
Yeah. But it is also nice that they're getting finished before the Z50 gig happening on Saturday, which is going to be a raucous time. I hope there's plenty of, I was going to say birds hanging around, but probably not. It's probably going to be too loud.
Maybe if you're using your old 70s slang of the birds are around.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's so get your bushcare in the morning and then head to the Z50 gig. On Sunday, if you're feeling up to it, at 8 o'clock there's a koala count in Whites Hill Reserve. That's in Camp Hill, which is a fantastic time. They always see a whole bunch of koalas. So if you want to go see koalas in the wild, that's the place to go. At 8 o'clock as well, you can go to the Cicada Park Bushcare Working Bee. That's Cicada Park in Chapel Hill. And at 3 p.m. on Sunday, maybe when you're feeling a bit more ready to go, you can go to the Working Bee and iNaturalist Nature Logging. That's at Corby Street Park in Ashgrove. Speaking of crazy things happening on Saturday, I'm so looking forward to the Z50 gig. It's going to be sick. My girlfriend's actually made me a 4ZZZ shirt to wear. I'm really excited about that. I want to play a song of one of the bands that I'm into that's going to be playing, Butterfingers. This is like a blast from my past. I just love it, so I'm going to play it for you, and we'll be back to say goodbye after this. This is Butterfingers with Mandarins.
Paradigm Shifts podcast is available online and via your favourite podcasting app. challenging the assumptions of our current society to investigate alternative ways of living for a world based on justice, solidarity, and sustainability. Tune in to the Paradigm Shift podcast. Just search The Paradigm Shift for Triple Z.
The band of your dreams, indeed. That was Butterfingers with Mandarins. You're back on 4ZZZ. This is Eco Radio. If you like what we do here at Eco Radio, and more importantly at 4ZZZ, there are some fantastic shows all over the Zeds. You can, on Wednesdays, obviously we've got a big show line up with, No Idea and the Home Show and Sonic Aliens. Jordan's coming up. Sonic Aliens, Goo, Dykes on Mics. All the 4ZZZ shows. I think the most important show is probably Locked In, that gives people who are locked up, incarcerated in the system, a way to still interact with society, because locking people out of society is not a way to rehabilitate. But if you like to be involved in 4ZZZ, you can go to 4zzz.org.au/support and become a subscriber. It's as little as $25 for under 18s or $40 for concession. Don't worry, we don't check concession, so you can say whatever you want. Honor system. Become a member, then become a volunteer, and then become an announcer. There's only good things that can happen. Zach.
Yes.
Coming up on Sonic Aliens next, we're going to be sending everyone over to the coolest cat on radio, Jordan. They're going to be talking to Paint, and they also got the amazing Joey Santiago from the Pixies on the show. It's a huge get.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to hearing Jordan talk to Joey Santiago. That's going to be crazy. You've been listening to 4ZZZ Eco Radio. Enjoy Jordan with Sonic Aliens.
For your dose of news, current affairs, and analysis, tune in to 4ZZZ 102.1 FM, 12 to 1 p.m. daily. Only Human, Eco Radio, Paradigm Shift, Megahertz, and Brisbane Line, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturday. 4ZZZ 102.1 FM, people-powered radio.